We are going to take a blank text file and turn it into a complete, structured profile web page from scratch. On the right side of this digital mockup, you can see our target, a layout featuring formatted text, an embedded profile picture, a bulleted list of skills, and a structured grid mapping out a weekly schedule. Step 1 is setting up your workspace. You only need 3 things: a standard text editor like Notepad or Sublime Text, a web browser like Chrome, and a dedicated project folder on your desktop containing a single image file. Every web page you visit starts as a simple text document. Your browser reads that text and translates it into a visual layout using HTML. HTML, or Hypertext Markup Language, is the standard code used to organize the content on every website you visit. Let's build the foundation. Open your text editor and save a new file as profile.html. That .html extension tells the computer to treat the file as executable code. Inside, we type our mandatory boiler tags: the HTML tag to start the document, the head tag for background information, and the body tag, which holds everything the user will actually see on the screen. Inside the head section, add a title tag. The text you place directly between the opening and closing title tags is exactly what will display in the actual tab of your web browser, rather than on the page itself. Now move inside the body tag to create our first visible text using an H1 or heading 1 tag. H1 is what we call a block element. A block element is a tag that automatically claims an entire horizontal row on the screen, preventing any other text from sitting next to it. Directly below the heading, we can inject standard body copy using the P or paragraph tag. Type out a short 2-sentence biography about yourself here. To highlight specific words within that biography, we use the B tag for bold text and the I tag to italicize. Because these are inline elements, they only alter the exact words they surround without breaking the flow of the paragraph. As you type these out, double-check your syntax. The most common point of failure for beginners is opening a tag, like bold, and forgetting to add the / to explicitly close it at the end of the word. By nesting these specific tags within the body, we take a chaotic string of raw text and organize it into a strict, highly legible hierarchy. Next, we need to add a profile picture using the img, or image tag. Unlike the text tags we just used, the image tag is self-closing, meaning it doesn't need a separate end tag, and it relies entirely on a source attribute, written as src, to tell the browser exactly where to find the picture. Since your HTML file is next to the images folder, your source attribute must explicitly name that folder, a / and the JPEG file name. Add a width attribute set to 200 pixels and an alternative text attribute as a fallback. Now that we have media, let's list out your core skills. To organize multiple related data points, we start by creating a UL, or unordered list tag. The unordered list acts as a container. To actually build the bullet points, you must nest individual LI, or list item tags, entirely inside that parent UL tag. If those skills needed to be ranked by priority, you would swap the unordered list for an OL, or ordered list tag, which automatically numbers sequential data instead of using bullet points. Combining specific element attributes with nested container tags gives developers strict control over how external media is sized and how grouped data behaves visually on the page. We are now ready to construct the most complex element on our page, a weekly schedule table. Start by establishing the outermost parent boundary using the table tag. By default, the browser hides the lines of a table. Applying a border attribute set to 1 and adjusting the cell spacing directly inside that parent tag forces the invisible grid architecture to become visible on your screen. Opening a TR tag slices the table horizontally, creating a row. Inside, TH and TD tags populate vertical columns with individual cells. Setting the row span attribute inside a single data cell merges that information vertically across 3 separate rows for a daily recurring event. Managing these strict parent-child relationships between tables, rows, and data cells allows you to display multi-dimensional information, like a schedule, on a standard 2-dimensional grid. Save your file and refresh your browser. You have successfully translated a raw, blank text document into a fully functional, structured web interface. What you are looking at right now is strictly the skeletal structure of a website. It deliberately lacks custom colors, decorative fonts, or a fluid layout. To move past this skeleton, the next step involves grouping these elements into div, or division containers, and applying CSS. CSS, or cascading style sheets, is the code language used to style and lay out web pages. Before moving on to styling, take 15 minutes to build a second page mapping out your favorite movies instead of a schedule. Applying this same logic to a different set of data proves you can translate a simple list of ideas into a structured digital layout.